of them were actually generally pretty mild. I think like maybe the first one was around 5 years old. That was, I think, the most serious out of like all my childhood. It was, I like fell off a play structure, landed directly on my head, and then my teachers actually didn't tell my mom. So this happened at school, and so I went home and was just kind of feeling out of it. And I mean, most of this is her account, just kind of the classic, glazed eyes, that sort of thing, and ended up throwing up. And then I think then kind of the story came out to her at least, so I had to go to the hospital for that one. And that was pretty serious. That was, I remember going through a lot of, I think I did the whole MRI, CAT scan. I was going through a lot there. And then other than that, I think the immediate impact, or at least short-term impact, was kind of the only thing. There wasn't really much long-term. Then I think I probably had a few more, about half my concussions I think have been from soccer. It's been mostly, so that's kind of the one major thing that's been there, or one steady thing, I should say. And then other ones have just been kind of freak accidents almost. I've had a couple from PE, one from playing on the playground, one from getting like a metal school door opened in me, like just random stuff. I think after maybe, I remember it was during middle school, so I probably had maybe 6 at this point or so. That was when I think the first kind of long-term effect was really noticeable. It was, I started developing like these tics, just kind of like compulsory muscle, like almost reflexes kind of, and just couldn't stop them. And I remember I had an EEG for that. They were concerned that I had, messed up my brain somehow. And I mean, it came out negative. I mean, everything was fine. I think that was kind of the first ever time I had something where it seemed like I was actually having problems. Otherwise, they just seemed like regular injuries, which I think is kind of one of the problems surrounding concussions. But and then I had a couple more. I think one at the beginning of my sophomore year, which was the first of the last 3, which have been like the 3 other serious concussions I've had. It was playing soccer. It was actually at practice. We were doing these sort of drills where we had multiple lines going on and people were kind of running right past each other. And a kid and I, a teammate of mine, we just ran head to head into each other. And so I was out. He didn't. I think it was his first concussion. He didn't miss any time. He was telling me he was feeling terrible, but he was just putting a brave face on and playing. I think I was out for 2 months, so I couldn't play. And then after that, I had a serious one in a tournament that we were playing in Arizona. I went up for a header. I was playing center back at the time, and the opposing striker kind of, it was kind of like as I went up, he kind of clipped my legs a little bit. I ended up falling backwards and hitting my head, and that was pretty serious. I had to actually, I suffered it on February 14th. I had to withdraw from school for the rest of the year. Couldn't handle any sort of bright lights, loud sounds, that sort of thing. And so that was, very serious. I had to start going to physical therapy, vision therapy, and I think it was just those 2 at the time, is what I was doing. And then in the midst of recovering from that concussion, so it happened in February. In September, I was in a pretty serious car accident, and that landed me in the hospital. And then concussion on top of that. So then at that time, I went into, I continued doing vision and physical therapy and then added cognitive therapy on top of that. And then I had started taking a class in September. I had to withdraw from that class. And then I was out until January of the new year. And then I took 2 classes that semester. So I started going back to school part-time. Eventually, I think in June, I got a job, and so I mean, it was those were definitely the 3 most serious ones, and that's kind of when I've really started to notice, real repercussions kind of resulting from that.